So he mentioned, our show designer, Alan Spaeth, who we've learned just a tremendous amount from. And again, he comes from the color guard world. So, he looks at things through that lens. The other person that Brent and I have really learned a tremendous amount, and she will not like me pointing this out, but is Mrs. Drinkwater. We're lucky enough that she's our fine arts director, so she shows up at some rehearsals. And the level of detail and the way that she looks at things and the level of performance has really opened our eyes to a lot of stuff. And one of the things that she really brought to our attention was also their engagement in performance. So yeah, are the flags going around, which we do a pretty good job of that, honestly, by the end of the season. I mean, there's enough hours and we can get that done. But what do their faces look like? And are they really performing? And so she gave us actually this brilliant idea, and that really seems to kind of, hit home with the kids. I mean, it's always, people always say they need to, get the character across. Like, okay, cool. What does that mean? Like, what's the character here, And so she equates things to emojis. Happy, open mouth, or it's a surprise emoji. And it's the same thing with the wins that we're talking about. It's not from a visual standpoint, but we are giving character to those phrases musically. So we're doing the same thing. So they're gonna give you their best emoji faces. We're layering all of the thing in, so this is what their final version was.
It's interesting, right? I mean, just those simple changes, like what they did individually was nothing more difficult. They faced different directions, they did the same skills at different times, and it's like, oh, that's more interesting, right? And then, we look at their faces, and sometimes you go, okay, that's probably a little much. However, and we talk to our theater teachers. We're really close with we have a really great theater program, and we'll talk to them. And if you're in theater, when you go out on the stage, your job is to convince people that you're a character. You know what I mean? And you've got to sell this thing, and they put on gobs of makeup and they do all this stuff, right? In the theater world, and you have to convince the people in the back that you're this character. Well, our job is the same. It's just in a way larger venue, right? I mean, you're in this massive, we joke with our theater people all the time. I'm like, you guys, when you teach a musical, we're doing the same thing. We're just writing the musical too. But it's the same thing. It is a production, right? And so the students have to learn that, and I think that emoji thing is so helpful because in their world that makes sense. In a teenage brain, you're like the angry emoji. They're like, oh yeah, I sent that 7 times a minute ago. And so they know how to do that, and then getting big and getting out of the comfort zone that they have to be able to perform on a grand stage. What we tell them all the time is we want every single person in the audience to go, did you see the color guard? They don't need to look at the second clarinet player. Sorry, Janet, but nobody cares about the second clarinet player.
I played the first clarinet.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
That's not even true, you guys. She doesn't even know how to play the clarinet. But anyway.
Not anymore, that's true.
You know what I mean? These are the people we want to focus on, I mean, we're putting a 6-foot pole in their hand in shiny silk. We want people to look at them. We're doing that for a reason. So we want to, you want to be able to watch them and go, man, those students were having fun, or wow, they were angry, or whatever else was going on, to do it on a grand scale.